BBC T's breakfast at just after 6 minutes past 8 o'clock on this Thursday morning. Well, let's turn our attention now to the main story looking at on the programme today, which is Hartlepool had a local plan, a blueprint, detailing how the town should be developed in the future. It cost £1.5 million. It took 5 years to create. But the council's Labour group decided to scrap it, start again, arguing that people in the town didn't have a big enough say in the old version. Well, critics say they are wasting money, leaving the town open to unwanted development because there's no plan in place to stop it. A consultation on the new plan is now underway. A local couple, Jill and Barry Brownless, say it's important for people to have their say. We'll be hearing from Jill and Barry in just a moment here on BBC T's. But first of all, let's head now to the leader of Hartlepool Council, because Hartlepool Council leader is Christopher Akers-Belcher and joins me on breakfast right now. Mr Akers-Belcher, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ali.
So we're talking now about £1.5 million previous cost, taking 5 years to create. What was wrong with the old plan, Mr Akers-Belcher?
Well, I think the fact of the £1.5 million, first of all, is a bit of a red herring, because 80% of any local plan is the staff costs, and when you adopt a local plan, you just start the review process straight away. So the actual cost to the council may be £1.5 million, but £1,200 of that, £1.2 million of that would have been spent anyway on staff costs. But with regards to the local plan, which we inherited under the new administration, many residents who we represented felt that it just didn't resonate with the aspirations of the town, but how they wanted. But
not resonating, is it worth ripping up and starting all over again then at a cost of, what, £800,000? Already £1.5 million's been spent.
The true cost of the previous local plan, around about £300,000, because there's a staff cost on top of that. But the new local plan within our budget that all politicians at our council agreed with is between £200,000 and £300,000. And I think if that grows the town in the right way over the next 10 to 15 years, it is money well spent.
I just want to get your reaction, because a little earlier we spoke to independent councillor Jonathan Brash right here on BBC T's Breakfast. And he's one of the people opposed to this move to start the plan all over again. He explained why. I'd like to get your reaction to this.
We have no protection at all locally for planning applications. Why is he saying it's about things like the Southwest Extension when the planning application is already in and will be debated, passed and probably appealed if it's rejected by the council long before any new local plan is in? We made an offer to the leader of the council at the time saying, adopt the local plan, give us that protection, and then as we're legally entitled to do, the very next day we'll immediately start looking to amend specific parts that you're concerned about. That didn't deal with the one-year problem, and again he rejected that idea. It's a waste of money, it's been done for the wrong reason, and it's laid Hartlepool wide open to a free-for-all from developers.
Your reaction, please.
Well, to be quite honest, I know the same people who were criticised, and we've had a number of meetings to talk about the new local plan, and they haven't even bothered to turn up, so that's how bothered they are about it. But with regards to development, we've got a number of developers who are subscribing to the new local plan, who want to invest heavily in Hartlepool. Surely that's good for the town, because the new local plan is about growing the town in the right way, creating Hartlepool jobs for Hartlepool people. And when you talk about the Wynyard development...
Yes, I'm only because, there are claims here that you're misleading the public with this new plan. You're only introducing it because the old one would have blocked future developments at Wynyard. Is that right?
It's not about that at all, because it's about the town as a whole. It's about what we want to do about commercial, what we want to do about land, what we want to do about leisure facilities. It's a whole. It's not about one discrete element of the local plan. And yesterday there is a real appetite for the new local plan, because we had an event that wasn't attended by Councillor Brash and some of the other critics, but it was attended by many residents, resident groups. It was attended by other politicians who really do fundamentally want to get behind this new local plan. It was attended by landowners, businesses, so there is a real appetite, and people are buying into it, and they are wanting to invest in Hartlepool. And my role, first and foremost, is to keep Hartlepool safe. It's about job creation, it's about making the town prosper, and I fundamentally believe it's the right thing to do and it is money well spent.
But have you left the town defenceless against unwanted development for 3 years while this new plan is being created? I mean, right now developers, I'll put it to you, right now developers have a good chance to build wherever they like, don't they? I mean, you're not in control of the situation.
Well, we still have the National Planning Policy Framework that we can fall back on, but people do need to remember that the planning inspector, when he made his final assessment, he said we had to go back out to consultation, so the previous local plan wasn't at a point where we could adopt it completely. He also put in planning developments that previously we had put in our documentation that we didn't want. So there would have been a lot of people and residents who we represent who would have had developments on their doorstep that we did not want. We prevented that from happening, and we are working with developers now. We're working with businesses, and we're working with lots of landowners to try and get the best deal for Hartlepool, and surely that's what politicians are elected to do.
So you refute claims from Councillor Jonathan Brash that this new plan is a disaster?
Certainly not a disaster. You're talking about Hartlepool grown, and we have a great town, and we're going to make it greater with the new local plan, and businesses are buying into that, and we will prosper. And people talk about housing at Wynyard, but they forget to realise that we're talking about 1 million square foot of commercial land that will create jobs for Hartlepool for the future.
And we've had a call from Fred, who lives in Hartlepool. He wanted to ask you some questions. We've just got the questions from Fred here. Are you okay just to bear with us a moment?
Of course.
Here we are. This is what Fred's had to say. Some points to put to you.
Christopher Akers-Belcher, as the leader of the council, met, along with several council officers, met the developers of Wynyard, the Wynyard Park development. Very shortly afterwards, a matter of weeks, Hartlepool Borough Council abandoned the town plan, which had taken several years to compile, against the advice of planning officers. He then said he compounded that with an absolute blatant lie. A new town plan would be forthcoming within 6 to 9 months. That town plan, a new town plan, will be, you're looking at least 2016. Do you think Alistair Brownlee could ask him a couple of pointed questions on that?
Well, Alistair Brownlee doesn't need to ask the pointed questions, Christopher Akers-Belcher, because we just played Fred's questions directly to you. How do you respond?
Well, I've already answered it once on the floor of council quite publicly.
Would you like to answer it now for us?
What happened is, as a role as leader of the council, it's woven into the constitution that myself and senior officers will meet with developers, any strategic partners, which I do. And Wynyard Developments is one of many developers that I met with over my period as being leader of the council. And when you're talking about weeks later, there was quite a few months before the local plan was withdrawn. And when the advice was given, which was professional advice from the council over the time scale, they were having a look at what elements of the previous local plan that would adopt in the new local plan. So when that decision was made and you had to give a time scale, it was based on best advice from the professional officers, at the council. But we have adopted elements and the new issues and options element of the local plan that we can abide by should be ready round about December, January of this year.
So just to clarify this point, because this is something that Fred's had to say, and also, of course, Councillor Jonathan Brash a little earlier, just to focus on this one point, then we will move on. Was the decision to go back to the drawing board for a new local plan anything at all to do with the fact that the old plan would have blocked future developments at Wynyard? Can we just clarify that?
No. It didn't have anything to do with that. It was talking about the local plan was something that a lot of people, residents who we represent, felt had been done to them rather than for them. And that was the overwhelming reason why the local plan had to be withdrawn, because we had certain developments in there like Quarry Farm, Tunstall Farm, developments that on people's doorstep that they didn't want, that the plan inspector had put in, and there was lots of other elements, so there was too many elements that weren't palatable to the people of Hartlepool, and the right decision was to withdraw the local plan.
How long will it take for the new plan? I mean, the previous one cost £1.5 million in 5 years. I mean, are we talking about, for this new plan, weeks? Are we talking months? Are we talking years?
When we had the meeting yesterday with the developers and the residents and the businesses, we told them there that we will continue with the consultation. We should have the first draft of the local plan that should be ready at the end of the year or January, and then by the middle of next year it'll be going to the hands of the Planning Inspectorate, and then it's really up to the government how they progress it, because once we send it off to the Secretary of State, it's really in their hands, and that's one of the reasons why it was delayed previously under the former administration, because the rules were changing all the time. They kept saying that we had to go out to consultation. So, initially when you start the first local plan, they never anticipated it would take 5 years, but we are working very, very hard. We've got to have a magnificent team back at the council who are well ahead of schedule. So hopefully the first draft of the local plan should be ready either December of this year or January.
Thank you for your time this morning. It's the leader of Hartlepool Council, Christopher Akers-Belcher, joining me on BBC T's Breakfast. If you live in Hartlepool, just what's your thoughts on what you've heard this morning about the fact that the local plan, blueprint, dealing how the town should be developed in the future, cost £1.5 million, took 5 years to create, is